So when we're in the process of rewiring an old home, a historic home, a lot of times what you're going to run into is there are these framing issues. In older homes, the exterior walls were not always framed, meaning there's brick past this plaster, but there are no interior studs to create an interior cavity the same way there are studs in the interior cavity of this interior wall. So these exterior walls, they're just plaster right on the brick. So there's no place to really put a box inside the wall. And as you see here, this is one thing that you can do is they manufacture surface mounted boxes and conduit called wire mold. And somebody ran wire and conduit on the outside of the house and popped it through the wall here. And that's one thing you can do. But a lot of people, this client in particular, they don't like the look of the wire mold boxes because they do protrude. You've got boxes that will extend out. They're not flush with the wall. And so in those cases, and in this case, we've got to solve that problem. You'll see down here, there was also a box that was recessed into the wall. What they did is before they set this baseboard, they chiseled the brick out behind here. And so we'd like to get new wires back to this location. And we've got plaster on brick in this room. And so what we are requesting here is you'll see this little strip of tape that says remove on this baseboard. We're gonna pull this baseboard. We're gonna have the client work with us to have this baseboard pulled. And we're gonna channel, similar to how they did that here in this brick, along the wall behind this baseboard. And what that will do is it will allow the client to ideally have less plaster to patch on the back end because this baseboard's just gonna go right back over that surface. So you've just gotta try to be creative and find little tricks that minimize plaster patching on the back end, allow for an effective install, and allow you to have some way to chisel that brick out behind here, because we're gonna have other spots in this house where we've gotta cut fresh holes into the baseboards, and we're gonna have to have them removed so that we can chisel and get our wire behind there too. Pretty tricky. So this is kind of a physical example of what wire mold conduit would look like on your wall. Now this is really common in old houses. You'll see this conduit, to these surface mounted boxes all the time, all over the place. It's very common, but aesthetically, it's not something that everybody's into. And so we can either employ this technique to surface mount the wire and minimize plaster, or we can start diving into removing baseboards, opening plaster, things like that.